Hi everybody, I hope you're keeping well. Welcome to October and your reading for this month. I also believe that a lot of the readings that many of the intuitives are doing are timeless messages for people that need to see them at that point. I'm really a big believer of not limiting guidance to time. So, just to introduce this month for a little bit of mixing things up, as I always do, it's never really fixed. I've got a different selection of cards, and I have a picture, a beautiful picture that was designed by Sonny Artist on Instagram, which is a picture of depicting a beautiful lady sat there around the natural world with the message water is life, and it's very much indicative of the elements around us. Five elements in Chinese interpretation is a great way to look at somebody's energy levels with nutrition and with Chinese medicine. But also there is a massive focus now on the elements, and really this is our natural source of energy that's available to all of us, and it is meant to be free. And this is a message that's going to be coming up stronger and stronger. So I want to work with the elements in the natural world this month. This is what Spirit have called me to focus on. I don't know what's going to happen with the messages. I've not pulled the cards yet. So this is just an introduction to say hello and thank you for being here. I know there's only a few of us on the channel at the moment, but if you would like to like and subscribe, that would be appreciated. It lets me know that the messages resonate and the work that I'm doing with Spirit is going out there to whoever needs it. At the end of the day, as intuitives, we are people as well, and it's lovely to get the feedback, and not validation but feedback and some support out there. So that would be greatly appreciated from my side. So the choices that we've got, so there's actually going to be 6 groups, so I might be here for a while. I'm just going to see what happens. So I'm going to choose cards from the Heal Yourself reading cards, which are by Ina Segal, and Work Your Light cards. I always want to call these Work Your Magic cards for some reason, by Rebecca Campbell. Caroline Myce's archetype cards, which really are quite prescriptive, and that's going to be about the archetype working with you this month that's going to be showing up. And lastly, the tarot by Jonathan Lee. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fix on a specific limit or perspective. What I'm just going to ask Spirit is the guidance available to you this month, and because the power is in your hands. So it's not going to be like what's coming up. Maybe it might mean that for you, I don't know. It's just going to be with the energies right now when you listen to this video, the guidance that's available to you. Okay guys, so I will see you on the other side. So bear, wolf, snake, eagle, turtle or fish. Those are your choices. If you want to go over to my Facebook page, I've actually put the picture up if you would like to have a look at it to tune in, and just to see what resonates with you. So I'm going to start off with bear, then wolf, then snake, eagle, turtle, and then fish in that order. I will put the timestamps below. So see you on the other side. Hi there. So welcome to those of you that chose the bear as your spirit messenger this month. So I've already pulled your cards out to save a little bit of time here. So this is quite interesting. As I look at your cards, this is to do with predominantly your guidance and your message today, or whenever you watch this video, is about relationships and boundaries. What's interesting is when I turn the card pack over, the no card was at the bottom, and Spirit said just leave this out. It's a very important part of this message. So I don't know what cycle you are have been in, but it's a number 6 as well. So 6 for me is all about love. But this card, when I look at it and I tune into it, this is somebody who's been discovering, learning, absorbing, understanding, but also in the past, I feel that there has been quite a bit of pain and trauma to do with relationships. So obviously collective messages will be different for everybody. Not everybody will experience things on the same intensity, but I feel that when you were younger, or those around you that were there to show you the way, the adults, when you were young and impressionable, when you're growing up, you weren't around people that understood boundaries themselves, so you weren't shown what maybe a personal boundary was, and that can be to do with physical, the body, and that has attracted in. Now, when we say attracted in, I want to be very clear here in saying that you are not to blame for other people's crappy behaviour. But as I always say in a lot of my messages, that in different lifetimes we're the bad guy, we're the good guy, and people that are the bad guy will often come in to teach us what we can't learn on our own. So this lack of boundaries in the past hasn't been helpful to you, because it's not helped you to establish your direction in life, but also to do with your direction in relationships and manifesting them. And you've actually got the Lover card here as well. So the Lover card is it says on the card passion and devotion, but I feel like there's a cycle that's coming to the end. You've learned the boundaries of learning to say what your no is and what your yes is, and for everybody that's different, because we all have different desires and needs and wants. And you've been learning this through your romantic relationships. And for those of you that might be, I'm not interested in relationship, I'd rather just cut this side off. And the thing is, we can't practice what we've learned unless we're physically present in our lives. So if we shut ourselves away and we cut off learning experiences, we're not participating in our own lives. But also what this Lover card, so the Lover archetype, is showing you that you now know what's important to you. And there's a very sense of a happy heart in this card. She's holding a heart, and she's just, I want to say she's joyful, and she resonates that joy. Obviously, if you are, not a woman, it means the same thing. It's turning up. Again, all the readings are never gender specific. It's always to do with energy. And this card is turned up right. So whatever you've been doing and whatever you have been practicing, it's working. It's working. You know your no now. And the thing is, what can also happen is that there can sometimes be a lull in between a cycle coming to the end and people start to leave your life. So you've worked through the archetypes. So maybe the codependent has been activated in your energy field, in your life. And that codependent cycle has come to an end. It can be quite painful. It can be like removing super glue from you energetically with emotional based relationships. But there is a sense of freedom here in these cards. Absolute freedom. And you mustn't think that that's loneliness. There's a difference to being alone and feeling lonely. We all feel lonely at certain points on the journey. Even the most strongest, resilient person who likes being on their own and they're introverted and they tend to restore their energy when they're alone, needs connection. And that need is not coming from a place of lack. it's actually, it's how we receive and give love. There's only so much that we can do on our own. We're not meant to be as a species alone for long periods of time. I mean, even people that are quite, they live alone, and you'll often find they might have stuff around them. Again, this might be somebody not in a healthy place. They might be, as we know, hoarding is a mental illness. It is an emotional place where somebody's got stuck, so they create safety around themselves. They board themselves up with items, they collect things because in some way they've developed this mechanism where they feel safer with things around them. But you'll often find that people that even live alone will have the company of an animal or wildlife, nature. There'll be something that they are passionate about and that they love. So there's a message here of like, whatever you've been doing in relation to learning about relationships and relationability is what I'm hearing. I don't even think that's a word. It's working, and the lover is turning up. And it's funny actually, because we are in Libra time and it's all about relationship to ourselves and others. I mean, all the signs are in relationship to ourselves, but specifically Libra rules marriage and partnerships, even if they're business partnerships. Seventh house is connection. It's very much to do with others in our lives, people that mean things to us, people that trigger us, people that we have intimate relationships with, people that we have a soul contract to learn, to understand. So if you have been maybe struggling to comprehend the end of something or something coming up that you needed to see in order to strengthen your boundaries, it could be that this is a necessary part of the path. So it could be that you go through a tower moment, but what it is doing is it's re-establishing what it is that you love and what means what to you, and you get to decide because the no card is there. So you always get to decide. Now the Page of Swords is here as well, and the Tarot. So the energy I get around this card is somebody sometimes behaving like obnoxiously. So pages are always about learning, and you also got the Page of Pentacles here. And the Page of Pentacles can be quite introverted. So it could be that with these cards, again, interpret them as you see fit as well. It could be that you have decided to retreat from this type of energy because it's just so disruptive, and you know what's right for you and you know what's not. And this energy, I'm not saying the Page of Swords is negative, but this is the energy I'm getting from this card is, again, when the sword's up, it's almost like, well, I'm ready to fight. And you're just so over it. Like, you're just like, this just doesn't make sense to me anymore. You know, my lover's turning up and saying to me, I know what I appreciate now. I know what situations I appreciate. And that's what I want to be in. I just want to break from all the trauma and the drama and the pain of the past. I understand how my past has affected my future, but now it's not, because I have a no. And that no is so clear. It's so definitive. You know, the lightning. Again, for me, that's a real nod to Uranian energy. It's like shocks and surprises sometimes that we weren't expecting, that we don't want. But actually, it can be the best thing that's ever happened. But when you're in the Tower moment, you don't feel like that. You actually feel like, oh my God, why is this happening to me again? And also, if you are seeing out a cycle, what I will say about this as well is that quite often, if you have attracted in a certain type or a pattern, so there's a pattern, there's an archetypal pattern that's active in your life, because that's what you're wanting to learn. I'm not saying what that is here because, you know, that didn't come out in the cards. It's just the lover has turned up today. But let's say, hypothetically, in the past, you have had this pattern, this program running that you were meant to go through, and you had a recent relationship and you're like, why is this happening again? I thought I've consciously made this pattern from being unconscious to conscious, and I'm working on it, is that quite often there can be a relationship that comes along once you've got this. Okay, so you've got the cycles and the boundaries, you've got this, but this relationship comes along to almost practice and heal the residue. So there's an element of clearing out that has to happen. So it's not immediate then that a relationship comes in with all the attributes that you're looking for, the light attributes, which is great passion, devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. But again, this is not, for me, it's not obsessional. So it's not like, you know, as sometimes I've heard spirits say to me on a few occasions, only feels rush in. And when with a person that has never learnt boundaries, is, yeah, they're ticking all the boxes and I'm desperate to be in a relationship. So they don't balance head and heart. And you might say, well, yeah, there's people that meet and then 2 weeks later they get married. But I also think that there is an element of people that do that lasts for 35 years. They actually knew, they were really in touch with their intuition. That's not what I'm talking about here. These are people with the pattern of codependency. So where no matter what, they'll just go from, they've got such strong abandonment issues that they would just rather be with somebody, and they'll just see all the shiny, you know, they'll move in, they'll make life-changing decisions. They will make a decision about this person not based on their intuition. It's coming from a place where they know that, yeah, this person ticks all the boxes, but they haven't let what needs to happen organically happen, because their patterns have been so deep that part of their learning and their practice is not to rush this, is to still be in the Page of Pentacles, because the Page of Pentacles is a builder and is learning to build, but from a really clear view. Can you see, like in this picture, he's looking and he's staring into his actual pentacle, and there's a person, it looks like a person's face in this, and he's looking at it and he sees things clearly. He sees things clearly, but there's a bit of wariness about him. You know, he's like, I need to think about this. And Pentacles is earth. Earth can sometimes needs time to feel their feet in a relationship and to feel stable. They won't make a decision straight away about a person, or if somebody's got loads and loads of earth in their chart. If anything, they can actually be a bit slow to take action, because they want to just go, they want to really just like feel it out and feel like this person is what they're looking for. But also, so this is about, I'm feeling like behavior where Swords is air, where it can be quite scatty and you just can't be around those energies anymore, because you're not feeling grounded and they pull you away from your inner. It's like it distracts you. But also you've got the Four of Pentacles here, and the Four of Pentacles is all about it's not necessarily debt being paid off, but it's money coming in. And together with the Page of Pentacles, it could be that you are, if you're moving on, you're in a new cycle of your life and you're starting afresh and you're on your own after being together with somebody for a long time, that you've decided, because there's a lot of patience with this card. So the message is patience, and patience when it means with money, because this can be, the Page of Pentacles can be good news with money. So it could be that you're waiting to hear about money coming in, and you just need to, you've asked Spirit, God, the universe, whatever you believe in, for help. It's coming in. This card is about material stability as well. So it's a message of financial problems will be overcome, and you will actually, because 4 is it's a stable number, 4. So if you think 4 points, it's a square. It's a strong base is being built here, guys. So, yeah, so I will leave it there. Hope you enjoyed your message, and no doubt I will see you soon. Sending you all lots and lots of love. Take good care. Hi, guys. So, welcome to those of you that picked Wolf. I'm still looking at your cards here actually because they are very interesting and lots of messages coming through. And this is not related to the cards, but I got a really strong message just as I went to tune into the wolf energy, and it was about, like, we know wolves, how they communicate, and the message I got from spirit as is, have you heard the call? Heed the call. So it could be that you're going to be asked to help somebody this month, or you may be really pulled to speak up about a lot of things that are going on in this world right now. There's a lot of restriction, changes. The transformation cards actually come out as well. Funnily enough, this is turning out to be another relationship-based reading. But I feel with the wolf energy, there's also a sense of social responsibility that's coming up for you this month. And it's to do with speaking up and out about social issues that you care about, that you can no longer remain silent, and it's now time to heed the call. Your soul is asking you to stand up and speak out about what you know needs to be said, because what you'll actually find is, if there's a bit of fear around this, what they're saying is, what you'll find is when you do, there'll be people around you that will be relieved and will be thinking, oh my God, you know, I wish that I feel the same, but I don't want to talk about these things because everybody, and I think it's to do with this cancelling culture now. And it's, people have a fear of not being accepted by peers and social groups, which is, I can completely understand it. And also when it comes to their livelihoods and when they've got children and responsibilities, they employ people. You know, a lot of employers, people that run their own businesses, and I know here in the UK, the people that run a lot of the SMEs, they pay most of the tax here in this country. I think 75% is the actual official figure. And when the pandemic hit, the first thing that a lot of responsible employers thought about was their staff, because they know their staff have got families and children and dependents that depend on them. So I don't know, I just feel with this group there's a link to social responsibility, and you feel almost like compelled with some of the things going on in the world, and they're saying that it's really important to have not necessarily a platform for your voice, but that you speak up in a way, in whatever way that works for you. It could be that you have to write it down, that you convene with spirit about this, but there's an element here of being able to get this off your chest, not holding it in any longer. So that's a part of your message. Now getting to the cards. So the first card that came out was the soulmate card. So I'm going to obviously cover two areas, which is people in relationships, people not in relationships. So the first thing that I'm going to say is people that are in relationships, because the transformation card came out with this. So there is an opportunity here for your relationship to grow. So if it's not been great and you've not been feeling good about it, but you want to heal, and this is a very deep healing, because this is like the Isis card. So this is like, you know, this is Scorpio energy. It's like the phoenix burning from the ashes, rising up from the ashes, burning everything down that was once before. So it will require a really new approach. And I'm not saying this is for everybody that listens. This will be for some people. But it could also be that you feel like your relationship's a bit stale at the moment. Is you've got the nature child has appeared. Whoops, there you go, nature child. And this is getting back in, that's going outside. You know, our Western culture now, I mean, some of you could be somewhere else where you're outdoors. As far as I know, I don't have anybody in the Far East listening on my Facebook group or anything like that so far, but I have actually had clients from Asia and the Middle East and the Far East, but nobody on here that I know of, but you never know. I mean, we include everybody. Spirit is not, they're not, we focus the audience on whoever and wherever. The cards and the meanings will mean different things. So please piece them together for you in your situation as well. But this is getting back to simplicity. This is really going back to the bare bones of who you are, what makes you laugh, what makes you feel settled and peaceful and calm and at peace with yourself. Because if things have been a bit stale, or you're just a bit fed up, or you're getting irritated by each other, that's when it's time to go back and to get back into nature. And sometimes people will say, well, I don't have time to take time for myself. I've got 5 kids and well, take the kids with you into nature. Spend more time outdoors, make effort. Nature will repay you in ways you cannot buy. You cannot physically pay for the experience that you get out in nature, because there's so much that plant life offers us, not only oxygen, but a sense of grounding and getting back to roots. And also I feel that this will help you to focus on the reason why you came together in the first place. So it's a bit like your nature child is calling you. So I just need to rearrange myself because I'm on the floor here. It's getting back in touch with animals and the natural world, which, I mean, this message is all about this month. It's all to do with the animals speaking to us and bringing us messages from the spirit world. Yeah, and there's a happiness here, there's a peacefulness, it's bringing you back into your gentle nature child spirit. So if you often see children playing in nature, that they'll often go a bit nuts and with excitement, or there's like a calm that comes over them, unless they're hungry or they need the toilet. You know, kids are the way that they are. They'll tell us, they'll be like, I need this, I'm hungry. They do make me laugh, especially one of my friends' kids is just hilarious and doesn't even realise. But the snow comes out or there's puddles, just put the hat on, go outside, put the wellies on. Whereas as adults, we lose a bit of that innocence and playfulness, because when the snow comes, we're thinking, oh my God, how am I going to get to work? A child will go, well, I just want to go out and do a snow angel and I want to have fun. This is new. It's, I'll be cold, but let's go out. They're thinking about the great things that they can do when the weather's really freezing and cold. Whereas for many of us adults, we're still in that responsibility mode. And I feel like getting back to your natural nature, the way you were when you were a playful, fun, childlike person, is what's going to transform your relationship. Because what's come out is brilliant. It's the 10 of Cups, the Magician. So again, it's another alchemy card. You've got so much available to you that you don't realise. The King of Pentacles is the builder, is stable, is what you see is what you get. Quite straightforward energy, but also there's a lot of power in that card, taking charge. But also the Knight of Wands is things happening quickly, so it doesn't have to be like, I need to go into therapy for 2 years. I mean, for some people that does happen in a relationship. Now, so that's for those of you that are in a relationship. Now, for those of you who aren't, this is almost like a message of reassurance. Okay, that there is somebody for you. There's somebody for everybody in life. Sorry guys, but my legs, it's almost like I'm being told to get up and walk. But the soulmate card is reminding you that there is somebody coming into your life, but they are going through a period of transformation. So like, if there's been a sense of, will I ever meet somebody? I'm going to be single for the rest of my life, or just an inquisitive feeling. What are they doing? Is they are going through a period of transformation, and they need to go through this before they meet you. and they are going back, they're stripping back their life. They are learning, they are unlearning what doesn't matter, and they are focusing on what does matter, which for them is, for a lot of this energy, that these are people that have to be in the outdoors. So I don't want to say that they're not a 9-to-5 person, but if they are, they're seriously considering changing their lifestyle, because it's not offering them the opportunity or the space to do the transformation that they crave, is what I'm feeling. But this person is wondering about you as well. So I wonder if, again, your energetic vibe together on the airwaves is being sent out there, because what's coming here as well, again, it can be, can you see how it can be interpreted differently? Is, so they're communing with spirit as well. So they're going through a period of deep spiritual change. So the nature child has turned up to remind them who they are. Who are you? So if they've been through something that has been tumultuous, some people may have lost their spouse or a previous partner. They may have been lied to. There may have been trust issues there. And they are learning to understand that not everybody and everything functions that way. So maybe their transformation could be in learning to trust again, or to love, or to understand that that part of their life needed grieving and healing and processing. And you see, that's what the nature child will do. It will just go out and get lost in nature, and will forget all time, all sense of what else is going on in the world. It will be a place of what matters, a re-establishment of value system, connection to themselves. Because when you meet somebody, don't you want them to recognize that you are each other's person? You want that connection. Everybody desires that connection on some front. They want to be seen. So this is brilliant, because you got the 10 of Cups, which is joy, fulfillment, happy times, family times. It is coming together, it's connection, it's love, it's just joy. And around this, you've got King of Pentacles, which for me symbolises that it's a stable relationship. But again, you've both had to go through this transformation in order to go through those archetypal patterns which have taught you your relationship patterns that sabotage from wherever they come from. And you've had to go through that. And then your new archetype that's turning up is your nature child. So Spirit is saying, don't sit here and wait for the person. Be with this. Be with your nature child. Don't lose yourself like you did in other relationships, if that means anything to anybody, because it will only sabotage any new relationship again if you start putting your partner before yourself. And now sometimes there's a time when that is necessary. Your partner's ill, there's an emergency, but it's got to be balanced. You've got the Magician in this. So I feel like with the King of Pentacles, this is like a power couple dynamic. So you both come to the table offering different things, but together the sum of your parts are stronger than you being alone. And that's not to say that being alone you're not a powerful person, but you're coming together to do something powerful, whether that's create a family, build a home, a business, offer something into the world. I feel like these relationships that are coming together will be a different dynamic than what we've seen before. And the Knight of Wands, I will say this, is that you might feel like almost a little bit, if you go through lonely moments of thinking, liaison and whatever. And I mean, I'm not here to tell you what to do in any shape or form. Spirit aren't either. It's a two-way street. But the Knight of Wands is somebody from a relationship perspective in the tarot, it's not somebody that I would want to go out with. Quite flippant. As soon as they appear, they disappear. Non-committal. Doesn't trust. Doesn't let anybody in. Very fiery and passionate. These would be the love bombers. Now, I'm not saying this is not going to be for everybody, but Spirit are just saying, look, it's not going to delay anything, but it's almost like I feel that, I don't know, they're just saying it's there, but is that what you really want? Don't you want to focus more on yourself and what you need instead of, because this for me links back to the old patterns, giving time and energy to the people that aren't invested in this, in growing, in evolving, in being with something that's deeply committed. But also for some people, this is saying that this relationship is also going to come in quicker than what you think. And, that's not wishful thinking. What they're just saying is that this will appear out of nowhere when you least expect it. So again, the more that you focus back on yourself, the less that you will feel like you're waiting, because there's a level of trying to control it when you do that. Right, guys, so that's the message for Wolf. So thank you for listening. Sorry about me moving around, but I need to get more comfortable here on the floor, but it's the best place for me to do my readings. But thank you for listening, and no doubt I will be back soon. Lots of love. Hi everybody, so welcome to those of you that chose the snake. So very interesting. This is a completely different message to the one before. So first couple of cards that you got from the Ina Sigal, Heal Your Life cards, I think they're called. Are they called Heal Your Life? Let's have a look. Heal Yourself. Is Temptation and Unleash Your Creativity. So there could be a sense here of, I need to get my ideas out. I'm going to be honest here and tell you what I feel with the cards. Now, obviously, with you might see something different. And also, people can see completely different messages and they're equally valid. And actually, I really love hearing what other people see, because it's so beautiful intuition and everybody's works in their own unique way. You've got the Star Mother card here from the Work Your Light cards, which is like mothering is needed. So it's very much a Mother Mary energy coming from that card. So if you have an urgency or a sense of time is running out, I have to tell you that it's not. Because what these cards are saying is that it's time to take care of yourself and put your own needs first, actually. And that I actually feel with this Unleash Your Creativity card that you've got so much to offer, but you also give a lot to people because the Angel Archetype card came out. But also, you see, the archetypes are neutral. They turn up and they become activated to show you something that you need to see. And the angel is turning up here almost like an angel for you. So this is angels, a very gentle energy. It's very, well, saying that though, they don't take any messing either. I've always worked with Archangel Michael, and it's like no messing at all, especially Uriel and Metatron. They're actually very, very strong energies. If you're around people that work with Angel Metatron, they've got very, very strong teaching abilities, but they're very powerful in how they teach. Because Metatron's very much like, let's just get straight to the point. So I feel like the angels are coming around you to say, all is well. All is well. It's like, take a rest, dear one. Because you've also got the Temperance card here as well, which is all about balance. This is actually a Sagittarian card, but it's like, can you see she's an angel in the card as well, but she's pouring water into her jugs and she's balancing them out. So there needs to be it may be that hydration levels need to be looked at. What projects and ideas are you watering that are taking more than what you have to give at the moment right now, and that maybe these need to be dropped until a little bit later. So you've got the Page of Wands. Now the Page of Wands, pages are all about learning and new experiences. Wands, this can be about travelling actually. It's about a young person that's very hardworking, and it can also link to hyperactivity, little staying power, and easily bored. Now, it could be that there are things going in your life. So say if you're a very creative person, you've got numerous projects going on at the moment, it could be that you're, right, okay, so this is what they're saying to me, and it's what I got with these cards at the beginning, which is that it's like your energy's been splintered off into loads of different directions because maybe you've had a lot going on. Now that could be, even with full-time work and a family, that's enough for everybody. And then not having breaks at the weekend because the kids have got all different out of school hobbies and sports and other things, and then elderly parents, is that you might not even be getting any time for yourself. There's a lot of nurturing energy coming with the Angel and the Star Mother card, that this is essential to restore your balance, the Temperance card, but also your creativity is not coming from a fearful place that you're going to miss out, or you have to get in there now because of the timing, or you know, you have to do a business, it has to be launched in January, so you've got to get all this done. And yes, there could be a lot of truth to that, but I feel with the energies and the messages that are coming through here is that the Seven of Cups is there's so many different choices and opportunities, but we can almost be glamoured by too much. There's too much going on, and then your ideas get watered down so that your energy isn't concentrated in manifesting an outcome that you want, because it's been diluted by being spread thinly. And the Five of Pentacles came out upside down. Now that could be about worrying about money, your attitude of the opportunities. So say like it could be that you've got to take these opportunities because of the situation going on right now. And I mean, if we look at Australia and they're mandating the JABs and people have to have it, otherwise they will lose their job. It's not giving people any choice. It's nothing to do with having this. It's to do with it's symbolic of lack of choice. But actually what can happen is that's like the Tower moment, when this news comes available, the first thing that we think is, oh my God, well that means my whole life's fallen apart. But actually the attitude is that no, it's not. You could continue to go down that road, but you could actually create a different outcome and see it as an opportunity, but not immediately when you're processing the shock, or maybe the pressure to do something that you might not feel ready to do, that you want to make your own decision making process or whatever it is, or your research. And you feel like you're not being given that opportunity, but there's always movement for change, and that can mean being in a much more nurturing environment. It could mean moving and living in a much more nurturing environment. It could mean moving out of like a panic situation, which I feel this is, which would make a choice which you might not feel that is right because it's not in tune with your intuition. Because whenever there's a lot of fear, and then there's mass fear, and then there's panic because people are feeling like that tightened energy around them, which is what this brings up, which it would in any situation. When anything gets mandated and you're forced to do it, especially those of us that are free spirits, will just go no out of the fact that we know the energy behind it. It's nothing to do with what it actually is. It's to do with the energetic reality of what's really going on beyond what the physical eye can see, because we know it, because we're all intuitive and we actually know this. So I feel like there's balance to be had here, and I'm going to just pull you another card around this, because I feel like there's another card that needs to come with this. So, oh, quite a few there. Right, okay. So let's see. Right. So yeah, so there's old patterns here, because you've got the Six of Pentacles and the Devil that came out upside down. So it could be that the Seven of Pentacles, which is planning, and the Devil. So it could be I just feel like almost like this is like they're saying to me it's lack of control. It's like everything feels out of control sometimes, and we need to actually the way to do it is to go into a much more gentler space. Because actually what we've got here is we've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is, it's like you need comfort right now. And actually the Nine of Pentacles is about a good administration of resources after hard work. So it's like sometimes there's a time for work and to go down the grindstone. I don't know whether it's the environment that you could be around right now, which many of us are in actually, and we feel this. But those of us that are using our spiritual toolbox to know, to really work with our spiritual practice, have felt that it's brought this in. And what that allows us to do is to make a decision, because the Seven of Cups is great as well. It's all about making a decision. There's loads of opportunities. And also this is saying, this has got another meaning, which is there's lots of opportunities available to you, but it's about you being able to choose the right one. But it's about not doing it from fear or thinking, well, if I don't take it, it's not going to come along again. You know, like when you make a decision and you know it just doesn't, something's just not sitting right because you've rushed the decision, or you don't have all the facts, or it just doesn't feel right. And I think what the guidance here for you is to take rest. Don't be tempted to go all in because there's a fear of missing out. The more you focus on stabilizing your inner balance and your calm from the external of the world, it could be that you're dealing with it on a daily basis. I was in the supermarket earlier today, and the lady that I was dealing with, she was so lovely, and there was a problem with the till, then that didn't work out. Then there was like quite disgruntled customers. There was a guy waiting, and he was really angry. He had like this angst in his face. Now, he could have been dealing with a difficult situation in his life, but I felt to myself on the way home, gosh, in retail, people are having to deal with this every day, because so many of the shops were what kept us going, especially the food supermarkets where this was. And I thought to myself, they must get affected by this energy. I mean, that's your working environment, and they're so lovely in there, the staff, absolutely lovely. I always have a chat with them, and we were having a chat, and I could see like this guy was just getting so annoyed. And then when she explained to him the till wasn't working, which wasn't her problem, by the way, tech breaks all the time. Again, Mercury retrograde we're in right now, it's asking us to slow down. When the tech goes and the trickster energy of Mercury appears, it's spirit guiding us to slow down, because the ideas and the opportunities and the business decisions that you're going to make and you're going to take are actually going to bring you the comfort and supply all your needs. But it's got to come from the right place, guys. It can't come from this energy of being shackled by the past or being forced, well, I have to do this because the government are doing this. I think this is like a lot of the spiritual mastery that we're all having to go through at the moment. And it's really difficult. And people are contacting me and they're asking me, well, what about this? And it's awful, and what they're seeing and what they're dealing with in if they work in healthcare and it's just a disrespect for each other. But it starts with the foundational level of, do we respect ourselves? And what I feel with this group, with you guys, with the snake group, is that you've just seen so many snakes, and I mean like snakes in this sense, people who are not genuine, or you've just been dealing with people and you've been spreading yourself thin, and now it's time for you. But it's not time for you as in to be on a world stage or to be out there. It's time for you to retreat into your inner sanctum, because actually that's going to bring the 9 of Pentacles. So much will flow when you're in this place of presence, instead of looking out there and listening to the outside where, oh, you've got to do this and you've got to do that now. After a tower moment, you need to pause sometimes. And I'm saying this in all the messages about the tower moment because so many of us are having them at the moment. We're seeing them, we're being affected by them externally as well, because, we do, when we're empathic, we can't not be affected about what's going on in another country or in our own country or in our community. But we must replenish ourselves. This is what our spiritual practice, and for years, Spirit have been bringing through in my readings that we would need our spiritual toolbox and our practice. And the more that we build our spiritual muscle, we are like, this doesn't even touch the side. So the devil energy is like being stuck in chains and, and thinking that we can't move, that we are, whatever we do is not going to work. With the 7 of Pence with it, when that's just not true. When you are, when the devil, so it's like the devil's turned itself up on its head, actually, when I look at this. So this, for me, for you, is about freedom. It's light at the end of the tunnel. And actually, it can be charitable thoughts and deeds. And sometimes the devil, when it's upright, can actually mean marriage, because it's got strength to it. So there's lots of different ways to interpret this card. But it could be for the first time that you're accepting good deeds towards you. You're learning to receive, because nurturing is, people that are around us that are nurturing, they're such givers. But it's now time for you to be on the receiving end of this. It's now time to restore your energy and actually come out of whatever it is. And it could even be with the devil as well. It can be actually overcoming habits and addictions, which is great. And actually, this is going to free up this. So can you see the cards have just got so many different meanings, guys? But I have to say for you there, because you've got the 9 of Pence is lovely. It's like comfort. It's like it's enjoying the pleasures of life, if not a bit too much. But this is where you're heading. But it is all linked to that Temperance card. And it can also be learning, because the Page of Wands can be going back to school and learning something new that is creatively based. And actually, this is the key to the 9 of Pence, guys. So, if you've been having a difficult time, the devil like this is saying that it's on its way out. And it could be that you have had money troubles and situations. And actually, when I think about it, the devil upside down is saying that you're going to be on the receiving end of either a charity link with money, or support from an external charitable organisation that's going to help you to build a business or an idea on your creativity. So it could be that you get like, you know, people in the UK apply for Arts Council and they get it, and that's going to clarify all these different choices that you've applied for, and you're like, what am I doing? So there's quite a lot of messages here, guys. So I've covered as much as I can for everybody that's listening, but that's where I will leave it. But just you take care of you, because you really matter, and it could be that you're shedding your skin this month, and this, you're shedding this past, and you're coming out of a chapter or a cycle, which is, it's not about everybody else needing stuff from you, it's actually about you needing you. Okay, all right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there, sending you lots and lots of love, and I will be back soon. Take good care. See you later. Right, hi everybody. To those of you that chose the Eagle, this is an interesting selection. I feel like your message is going to be quite cryptic this month. I don't know why. Of course it's a collective message, so it's going to be different for everybody, but I think there's going to be quite a few different, it's layered is what I'm getting. So first card you got was a procrastination card, and I feel like the message I get with this is the time for procrastinating is now over. You've got to take action. But it's interesting because in the tarot card you're also told to rest. So again, I think this is why I'm getting like two different energies around this. And what I get with this card is that if you're going to rest. Don't rest going over all the things, and they're not criticising you with this, but I've done it. Have you ever been like, yeah, I'll do this and I'll do that and I'll do it, and then you do this thing where you escape for days because you don't want to deal with the things you know you want to deal with, whereas actually sometimes if we just wrote a list and we had everything that we need to do, and it is Mercury retrograde, so things can get a bit haywire. So it can be sometimes that we've got to just go with the flow, but we're kind of on it, like we know what we need to do, but we're going to act on things as and when we know we need to. But what I feel the energy I got with this card straight away was, it was like, I know there's all these things that I need to do and I don't know how to do them, so I'm just putting them off. So it's like purposeful action is what I want to say is needed. And I feel like, so they're saying the reason that you need to take proper rest, not rest where your brain is just, it's still on haywire. And trust me, we all get this, especially very intuitive people, because intuitives like, and what I mean by this is we're all intuitive, but people that do it for a living, we're usually problem solving a lot. Spirit is saying not anymore, but that's so true. But it's more healing now with what's going on in the world. But there's a massive nod to angels again in your reading, like the other group. But then the Eagle, as soon as I tuned into the Eagle, it was all about angelic connection. But this is the card of Pillar of Light. So what it is Spirit are building this pillar of light for clearing for you. And you're obviously, when you get a light upgrade in your body, your physical and your energetic bodies, you can't be running around while they do it. This is usually when we feel a bit tired and we feel a bit knocked out, like a bit like a spiritual anesthetic. But the thing is, I have to say, with your archetype that's shown up for now, I feel like this is more an acknowledgement of your energy, which is, it's very connected to the angels. And our earth angels are very, very, how can I say it? They're prone to procrastination, because they can be like, oh no, I don't want to upset everybody. I don't want to put people out. You know, I don't want to be a pain. I don't want to. Whereas what they're saying is that it's almost like because the Tower's come out, but trust me, the Tower's a good card. I like it when the Tower comes out, because it means that things are moving away that just need to not be there. So it's like the crumbling card actually in the, what's it called? Work Your Light cards. They've got a crumbling card, which is exactly the same thing. So what you've got here is you've got the Four of Wands, which is, you know, this is the card of like happiness, it's prosperity, it's also personal achievement and material well-being, but it's also home improvements, and it can also mean that a move is imminent. And around this, you've got the Knight of Pentacles. This is why I feel like this will be different, because some people don't want to move house. They're happy where they are. But the Knight of Pentacles, so there's an offer coming in of some kind that's earth-based. It's financial, or it's somebody's coming to offer you something. It could be an opportunity that's more home-based or nearer the home. And the Tower moment is around this. So it could be that things are happening with you where you might feel that things are falling down or apart, or you feel like you're not in a place to do what it is that you need to do. And it's like Spirit is saying, no, like this is stuff that you've asked for. Let the crumbling happen. Let the things fall away that are not important. Because you've got around this, you've got the Sun, so it's blessed. And you've also got the Hermit. So, no, you don't have the Hanged Man. So the Hermit is like a Virgo card. Again, it is earth energy. So it could be to do with material stuff, or it could be that, say, you've had things break in the home, or you've had things happen like maybe a flood or electricity issues or things like that, but the help is on its way. Things are going to restore and you will be okay. And it could be that there's a blessing in disguise around this. So this is just saying being patient. This is not, so the Hermit card is around this to say, it's almost like don't react. You know, like when we do thoughtless things, so we call somebody up and we rant at them, we go, you know, if we're like in a reactionary state, that's just not the wisest course of action at this time. They're saying that it's like a weird thing, like, you know, like people will say, oh, I want to, and this is, I know it's extreme, but sometimes you can actually get what you ask for. I'm trying to think of an example physically off the top of my head. But you know, like people might have, obviously nobody gets injured and that's not what we want here. But something can happen in the home, which then will lead to, like, say, compensation, or equipment needs to be restored. I had it recently, actually. That's a good example with my electricity company. And it turns out that the meter was faulty. And this went on for ages. And then I ended up getting, when I left the contract, I ended up with more money than I started. And obviously I wasn't going into it with that, but they had to, there was no way that they could get out of it, because for God knows how many years I've been saying to them, this didn't work and that didn't work. But what it ended up doing was it ended up paying for all the repairs I needed to make on my boiler before I sold my property. So it was actually a blessing in disguise, and that's what I feel the Sun card is here. But again, it could be, if we take the Four of Wands and not a home situation, because again, I don't want to exclude anybody here, because you might be happy in your house and you're like, no, I'm again, it's material well-being. So it could be that you're happy about your choices, and then something comes in like a surprise, which often Mercury retrogrades, usually at the midpoint, which this one is the 9th of October. This is usually when things start to be revealed, at the midpoint. So it could be something that happens out of the blue, the Tower, that you're not expecting, that upsets your equilibrium, and you think, oh my God. And actually, there's an offer coming in that's going to help you, that's going to direct you onto a new path, which breaks this procrastination. So it's something coming out, because the Tower is surprises. It's like, it's a Uranus shock. And again, there's a massive nod to lightning here with people. So lightning is electricity, it's energy, it's power, it's surprise, it's shock. It's not what we're expecting. But the thing is, you know, this angelic energy that is beautiful, sometimes the angels in the universe are quite often the ones that won't ask for help. But the thing is, there is some help coming, but it's almost like spirit are going, we're giving you a tower moment for you to accept the help because you're procrastinating about asking for it. This is why I just feel your message is really multifaceted here. Again, you can, you've got the Four of Wands, the Knight of Pentacles, the Tower, the Sun and the Hermit together. And the Tower, this is where they've put the Tower card. It's right in the middle of all of this. And then you've got around this, you've got the Ten of Pence. Now the Ten of Pentacles is the card of wealth. It's good family life, it's inheritance, and it's family property. So for some people, this will be a message about property now because you've got two cards with this. Also, it's an indicator of marriage, the Ten of Pentacles, and carrying on family tradition. So it could be that you are in a preparation time where your energy is shifting. You've been procrastinating for a long time about putting yourself first. And then there's situations in your life that are moving you out of an environment that you've been in for a long time. And they're preparing you for a much richer life. Because again, wealth is not always about money. And I know that's a Pence card. But also people see the swords and they're like, oh my God. Like, look, when I one point I was getting the Ten of Swords all the time. And it was like I needed to take a break, a rest. It's not the end of the world. Now, the Four of Swords is actually recuperation. It's about rest. It's about putting your thoughts in order, which is what the Hermit card is very much about. It's about going into the cave. But you see, this Pillar of Light card is here. So your vibration, your energy bodies are getting an upgrade as well at this time. So you mustn't see this as procrastination. Again, rest is not rest. If your brain is in overdrive telling you throughout the time that you are being guided to take rest of all the things that you should be doing, that's not rest. That's actually procrastination. But this card is about it's time to recuperate from the troubles of life. So, a lot of the messages these days that Spirit asks me to offer is reassurance. But there comes a point where when you are the oracle, because we all are for ourselves, a lot of the time we're doing things intuitively. We just don't even think we are. We don't even know because it happens so quickly. We just do it. Is that there comes a point where it's not about validation. It's not about reassurance. No, to the point of mollycoddling. That's not reassurance. That's almost like protecting people. It's like a form of codependence. It's not. It's about coming into a place for you with your energy of you being able to reassure yourself. You, as the Irish would say, mind yourself, being able to mind yourself, so that when these tower moments come up, you are well and able to deal with them. And I have to say, with the cards that are around here, they are great. But again, also, there's a message here about understanding when to rest and when to move. And I think maybe this is what the angel has turned up to show you, is that you help so many people and you don't want anything back. You do it from the goodness of your heart. Do you do that for yourself? Do you expect that for yourself? Because now is the time for you to receive this wealth. It's about you being able to vibrate on a level, on an energetic place within yourself where you can receive this and recognize it and accept it for yourself. And this is what the Pillar of Light card is coming in. Can you see it? It's absolutely beautiful. I'll just hold it up closer for you. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's like breaking free. It's breaking everything open, isn't it? If you look at it, it's like symmetrical, but it's like the earth is breaking open and the person is tapped into almost like all that there is, to the core of Mother Earth, to every light. I mean, there's literally every shade of light in that card. You're tapped into everything. So again, when you're tapped into everything, you know that when these tower moments happen, these upsets, they're a temporary state of affairs. But you will be shown the blessings, because we can't just stay comfortable and not go through growth, and growth involves the Tower. It's all part of the natural progression of the tarot. And what's that? That's number 16, isn't it, the tarot card? So if we think about the tarot, and then what comes after the tarot in the pack, I'm just thinking to myself, is it? No, it's not the moon. Let's have a look. It's the star. It's the star. So it's like blessings come after the storm. There's a clearing, isn't there? And the blessings come. Right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed that, Eagle Group. And I will be back on here soon. I'm sending you lots and lots of love. Take good care of yourselves. Hi everyone, to all of you that chose the turtle group. This is quite interesting because, again, it's very different energy to the other animals. And I really felt with you, actually, that whatever is going on, I want to say you're not alone. Don't feel like you're alone in whatever, if you're feeling overwhelmed, or there's been so much or you're overwhelmed with what's going on in the world right now. There's too much change. It's not at a rate that you're used to. You're feeling like things are out of control, or maybe you're working towards a goal, but right now it just seems like it's so far out, because there's an element to thinking, well, you know, how am I going to get home to see my family? I haven't seen them for 2 years. Or how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to get out of how am I going to move forward? The feeling I get with, and this obviously won't be for everybody, is that my success is dependent on external events. And I have to say that that's not true energetically. It's what Spirit is saying. So again, that is not to dispel what you're experiencing or minimizing it, but I'm not here to give messages that are going to help you to remain stuck. I'm a truth teller, it's what I do, and it's not about sugarcoating the messages. Because ultimately the truth sets us free, doesn't it? It's really liberating. Because the first card you got is the Have Faith card. So there's a lot of protection around you right now. And when I did the Work Your Light cards, there were loads that came out, and I just put them back into City Spirit. I can't read all those cards. But to me, it's needing light. It's needing light, because I feel like there's a lot of shadows. So I don't know where you are, or your environment, or you're around a lot of people who are just talking about crap all the time, and it's just doing your head in. And you're going, well, where is God? Where's the help? I've prayed and whatever. But faith is not about getting an outcome that you have requested in a certain way. Faith is already knowing that the supply is on its way to you. You haven't seen it in physical matter yet, but it is on its way to you, because this is actually about getting in touch with the understanding of the safety net that Spirit gives us, that we don't believe is there, but it's always there. So the events and whatever is occurring is asking you to trust your path, because it says, if you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So I'm just going to think about this. And for some people, this might be a confidence thing about taking the next step to expand your business, or taking a leap of faith, which involves doing something new. And you're worrying about what everybody's going to think, because it's either not what people thought you were going to end up doing, or it's a change in direction. And there might be an element of thinking guilt, because you've invested all this money and time into a job or a career, and you're in there, and you're feeling guilty because you've taken out loans, or family have helped you, whatever. But this was a necessary part of your journey. For instance, I always remember the story that Caroline Myss talked about there was a gentleman, and this is going to be a severe story, but it's the story she told. It's not to insult anybody or to protect people's feelings. It's really what happened. So this gentleman came to her, and he was, I think he was a dentist, and he had cancer. And this is when she was doing a medical intuitive readings, and it was years and years ago now. And he had something, was it early stages, it's pancreatic cancer and whatever, and she sat with him. And this is what, it's interesting because Dolores Cannon talked about this a lot as well, about, because again, with illness, it's a lot of people change your thoughts and change your life, but it's not as simplistic as that. Some people have a soul contract to go through an illness. Some people, it awakens a destiny point of choice. It's fascinating when you hear these stories. And she said he never ever wanted to be a dentist, but his dad, or was he a lawyer, something like this, he wanted to do something completely different. I think it was like a landscaper or something. And his dad was like, no, you won't make money out of this, you will do whatever. Yeah, pancreatic cancer. And he basically went along with this. And this was a grown man. I think he was in his 50s. And even at that age, he still had his dad's voice in his head because his dad was no longer alive. The sound, it was like a soundtrack of the family expectation running around in his head. So on some level, this man had a misplaced sense of loyalty to his father in spirit, that he didn't give himself permission to change his career because of all the investment and the time and the ways. And I think this is the conversation that came out, and it was affecting obviously his energy to the point where he got cancer. There was obviously an anger and upset and whatever. I don't know. I wasn't doing the energy reading. But what was fascinating was Caroline Myss talked about how he could change his career. He had the choice to do it, but something inside him didn't want to, and that was his human free will, his choice. And unfortunately, he did end up passing away from cancer. It was very sad. And I'm not sharing this with you because I want you to feel bad. What I'm saying to you here is that, so if I was your spiritual benefactor, and you probably, I think some people are already doing what they want to do. This is what I'm hearing. Spirit is saying there's other people who just need a little bit of a nudge and to get started. But there's also some people here that are already on their path, and they're like, what the heck? Because of obviously what's gone on in the world in the last couple of years. But imagine I was your spiritual and material benefactor, and I said to you, you know what, matey, I don't want, this is a no strings attached deal, so there's no BS with me. I would say, right, what do you want to do? I'll set you up. What would be your answer? And for everybody it will be different. And I think the majority of you, regardless of the challenges that you've had, will be like, yeah, I'll still be doing this. Or it might mean a few tweakings of how you're doing it and working it in your life, where there's more balance and more happiness and more, I've got to keep going back to the balance again. It's Libra season. I'm not using that as an excuse, but there's also, you've got the message here about rest and recuperation as well. But there's also a mindset that needs, there's a mindset switch here, because the ever unfolding rose is, there's more to come, there's more to happen yet that you can't yet see. There's more walking through a doorway, and it's understanding that all that stuff going on outside there, it's not happening. It says on here, it's happening for you, not to you. So it could be building strength, resilience. It could be that if you have a business or an idea, or you are working in a certain role, that you have developed so many skills throughout this last period that you wouldn't have done if this never happened. Or it could mean that you have reached out to get support and help, and in, years ago you never would have done that. And what you've got is, you've got two archetypes that turned up on your path. So the child orphan is all about being independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. So with you guys, this is about the first chakra. This is a base chakra healing. So this is understanding about you can thrive in the world, not just survive. Because funnily enough, and this is where the alchemy happens, is the magical child has already turned up as well. They've turned up together. So this could be that you have both archetypes and you're moving from the orphan child into the magical child. So the magical child is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. So, for instance, something happens and you get supposedly forced out of a job. It's out of your control. You cannot do that job anymore for whatever reason. This is actually an opportunity. It's actually an opportunity. But there can be sometimes the processing and the switch to move from getting all that energy, releasing all that energy from you about the loss, being alone. I mean, you've not had the victim archetype, which can sometimes turn up to say you're not a victim. Remember, this is turning up to say you're not alone. You can survive. You can more than survive, because your magical child has turned up to remind you of what's sacred and magical in the world. Now, I know, like, everybody is feeling a bit battered at the moment. I know they are. People are really feeling it. But this new moon in Libra on the 6th of October is going to clear a lot. And the thing is, we all signed up to be down here at this time to see all of this purging and this unfoldment. Again, you see you've got the rose unfolding. A part of this unfolding process is that the rough and the smooth come together at the same time, and it can be overwhelming. That's why this card has come out as well for you. So this has come out for, I think, 3 of the 6 groups, and this is about retreating from the troubles of life. So this is about restoring your energy from, because there's a lot of this survival stuff. There's a lot of programming out in the world which keeps us all stunted and repressed, which is, you're not going to have this, you're not going to have that. Yes, it might mean a bit of temporary inconvenience and pain, but whenever I've gone through this with Spirit, I've said, right, okay, this is what I need, can you work with me on this? Again, it's a two-way conversation, guys. A spiritual teaching is, we're here to balance it out, to help people as a guide when they're at these points, these destiny points, or these periods of massive change and chaos on the path. But also there's a lot of retrograde planets in the sky at the moment. So a lot of the bigger planets are going to start to move forward, I think, by the 3rd week in October. So we are in one of these big periods of this Mercury retrograde where we're hearing Mercury's communications. It's dredging up a lot that's gone, because retrogrades go back over things. They dredge up things, and there's a lot of that going on. So if you need to retreat and you need to stand back from this to rest and put your thoughts in order, or have a peaceful interlude, take it. What taps you into this magical child, because this child is here to remind you who you really are. And it might mean like family time, to be with your loved ones. I don't know about you, but I love cooking. Like, every time I think, I live near the seaside, and I'm like, right, I'm going to go to the fish and chip shop, and then I always end up cooking it, and I do it healthfully, and I make it at home, and it always tastes better. And it's like, yeah, put a bit of love in the food, sit at home, get comfortable, do things that are reassuring for you. Take that time. Now, if you've been in survival mode for a long period of time, that card fell down as well. Again, the Hermit is here with the 4 of Wands, the 9 of Cups, which is the wish fulfillment card. But also around this recuperation card is you've got the 6 of Pentacles, which is generosity. So this is about help from someone else. Again, not being, I'm on my own, there's no help. You might be physically on your own and there is nobody around. Again, this card came up right. It's about coming out of survival mode of trying to do everything yourself, maybe taking a step back and asking for some help, even if it's externally, financially. And also the Six of Pentacles. This is a card I meant to hold up. This is financial support. It's a card of debts being paid off. It's about someone seeing hidden talents in you. Maybe having this rest and recuperation is letting things unfold on your path. God, that Hermit card keeps jumping off the table. Again, is going to let things unfold. Everything's cracked open that you needed to see. Again, Hermit card it's about going into the, a hermit. What does a hermit do? Well, it's about caution and patience. It's about age and experience. The hermit knows everything will work itself out. It's not about doing things. It's not about reactionary behaviour. And you got what did you get here? The Nine of Cups. I mean, I absolutely love this card. This is a great card to receive. So this is all about things that you are wanting to manifest, coming into, and again, this card comes out after the rest and the recuperation and the Six of Pence. So this is a card of pleasure. It's about good health, happiness, popularity. It's about meeting up with friends, fulfilling relationship. It's about good communication, the flow of new ideas. Maybe that's what's needed for you with this rest and relaxation, especially if stuff has been going on that keeps triggering you to go into survival mode. And then around this, you've also got the Four of Wands, which came out before for another group. And that's all about prosperity. So again, it can be a house move, it can be material well-being, it can be successful conclusion of a project. Again, this can mean different things for different people, guys. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Yeah, absolutely. Very interesting message there. Different energy again, guys. So wishing you all really well. I mean, you've got this. I've got to say, you've got this. It's these survival situations that can almost push us sometimes for reach for something greater heights for ourselves. So there's learning and everything. So I'm sending you all my love and I will be back soon. All right, have a great month. Take good care of yourselves. Hi, guys. So to those of you who chose the fish card, the fish card. I'm on the last group, you can tell, can't you? The fish on the picture. Here is your message. So I've just pulled the cards now and I'm just looking at them. And it's interesting actually because my throat chakra is, I just feel like there's a massive release around my throat chakra here. So there's like a choice here that needs to be made, is the feeling I'm getting. And also there is the family and tribe card has come out for you. Now, this could actually mean so many different things. For some people, it could be that they want to find out more about their family of origin, but also their genealogy. This is coming up. There's a sense of, I want to know where I came from, connection to my ancestors, not only for interest, but also so you can connect with them in spirit. It's almost like there's a part of you wanting to discover a part of you through connecting your ancestors. But also, for some people, this is going to be about coming together with your creative tribe. So there's, I feel like with this group, there's some endings coming in relationships as well. There's things that need to go to create more room for your creativity in your life, because you've got around this, the Mirror card, and align your life. So if there's been things showing you along the pathway here Well, I've tried, like this card here, I've tried this, nothing seems to fit, it's not coming together. But I don't know what to do about it. And then things are showing up in my life and I don't know what they mean. That's actually what I'm getting with these cards. And sometimes I think we can attribute too much energy to outside and to other people. I think sometimes people will come on our paths as messengers to show us that isn't the right opportunity, or we're just not aligned with the energy in that organisation or that institution or that group or whatever. And it's just not in alignment with us. But because you've got the artist and the seeker that have turned up, which shows me that you're looking for something right now. You're looking for something that's in relation to your creative spirit. And we all have a creative spirit, but your artist has turned up. So it could be that if you are an artist, you could be, how you create is changing. And recently there's been a lot of things that you would normally do that haven't felt like they're aligning in your life. It just doesn't sit right. And your groups and your associations and your affiliations are changing in your creative area of your life. So the artist is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. So it's like all the symbols have been turning up, but you don't know what they all mean. But what I get with those two Work Your Light cards is that it's like, we don't have to go into the ins and outs of every single thing that turns up as a signpost. It's like a signpost to go, no, and then that's it. And it doesn't necessarily need your energy, because this is what's turning up, is that there's something in you that's yet to be born creatively. And you see the Seeker card, it says on here, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. So the inspiration for art can come through so many different things. It can come through food, a conversation, a documentary, cultural awareness, reading somebody's story, connecting with an artist in spirit. It can be expressing your story. It can be processing trauma. I mean, gosh, it can be the natural world. It can be a piece of poetry or writing. I mean, the list is endless. If you think about where inspiration comes from, it's so subjective. But as long as it inspires, that's all that matters. So with you as well, it's about not having to be too fixated on this either. And that might, if I'm talking to somebody who's got like 4 kids, and it's like, that's not what I mean. What I mean is I need to get this right really with what Spirit has shown me, because I feel energy and it doesn't come in words sometimes. But it's like, if you've been over focused on family and you feel like you've lost yourself a little bit, it's time to reclaim a little piece of you back, because this is where your seeker and your artist is. So it might mean at the moment that you're feeling this overwhelming sense to write or to read or to feed your brain and your heart with things that are out there that inspire you. There's just a need to soak up information and to learn right now, because the seeker sometimes has to go on a journey. They can't stay in there. But again, you can have an internal journey of the mind. You can do that through meditation, transcendental meditation. The thing is, you might feel that you might need to change your environment, but you can't. But you can find that in books. Gosh, we've got so much access to information. This is definitely like an out there message really, Because, I mean, that picture has a Bedouin on it. And he's walking through the desert and he's alone, or they're alone, or... I mean, my experience of the Middle East, it looks like a bloke on there. So this is like the masculine side. The divine masculine needs to seek. It needs to absorb. It needs to maybe go off into the wilderness to explore. That has freedom to it. And the artist, so the divine feminine, is the one that's going to bring through the creativity, whether that is whether you paint, or whether you draw, or whether you write, or whether you speak, whether you teach, whether you sing. You know, it's different for everybody. Right, so going on to the tarot now. I mean, I cannot believe this card has come out again. The Four of Swords. I mean, literally, this card has been out now so many times. It's having a field day in our readings today. But this is the card of rest and recuperation. So again, it's not like we don't all have to like book a flight and go to like Oman and go and stay in the desert to get inspired. It might mean that we watch a program on a cultural tradition, and especially if you've got signs or planets in the 9th house, or you've got a strong Sagittarian, you've got planets that interact with the house that rules Sagittarius for you, which is higher learning. It rules foreign people, foreign lands, and so does the 9th house. You might have a North Node in Sagittarius, which is your destiny path, which is all about learning, about, it's seeing the other side of things, it's seeing the truth of things. But Sagittarius is linked to foreign lands, so is the 9th house. If you have like planets in there, like the sun, you'll be attracted to that. You could find that you particularly thrive in environments that are different to where you grew up. Your learning and your teaching and your expression of your creativity is linked to your experience with foreign people and foreign lands and different cultures to the ones that you have grown up in. It could even be that, say like you're an artist and you have a certain way that you paint and you're learning a new technique, and that's what this is. Because you've got the Death card underneath this, and the Page of Cups is an offering. It's a new offering. It could be choosing to do something which isn't taxing, that offers you something in order to almost support your inner artist to feel fed. So I don't know if that's coming out right, but if I think about, it's like whatever you were doing before is great, but it's not going to work anymore. So that's what the Align Your Life card's about. There's a realignment going on. There's a different situation. You just don't like this anymore. It's just not working for you. You've done everything that you can with that. It's been great. But it's time to move on and do something different. So the Death card is always endings. Page of Cups, it's an artistic child. This is about also emotional vulnerability, this card, and affection. So it could be that you're tapping into this side of yourself, and this is what's creating a new pathway for you. I mean, artistry it's how we express ourselves, isn't it? So it could be any area of your life. I'm trying to keep this as generic as possible because it is all about the energy. It's what an energy reading is for. But the endings have to come because you've got the first card in the tarot pack, which comes directly after the Death card. And this is crossed by the Empress. So it's almost like trusting your own authority and to act on it. And then the Fill card came out together with the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is a very artistic, creative lady. And you've got the Divine Masculine, which is the Emperor, and the Divine Feminine. You've got the male and the female. So this new beginning is very balanced in your own energy. And then you also got the Six of Pentacles. And this has come out a lot. There's a lot of, so there's benevolence, there's charity gifts, someone seeing your talent, it's financial support, it's debts being paid. Again, this is linked to your new beginning. And it's to do with your trusting your inner authority. But it's also letting the whatever needs to die to go. So it could be that you need space, and you need not only energetic space but environmental space from people and things that just aren't part of who you are. They're just constantly triggering you, and it's most of the people that trigger us are really sometimes our strongest soulmates, because they're bringing the greatest lessons that usually can realign us back on our path. I mean, we never ever go off it. So I should probably rephrase that, but what they do is they come in as our greatest teachers, and they're usually our biggest soulmates, because when we're upstairs and we have our soul plan, they're part of it. They agree to come in and sometimes betray us or trigger us in a way which says that helps us to learn of what we won't tolerate in our life, and it helps us to ask for what it is that we deserve and that we need. And it could be that you've been in a situation and you've been around people that haven't recognised this in you. They haven't recognised your art. They haven't recognised who you are. But there's a lot of depth to you, which is definitely obvious with these cards, because the Emperor coming out is super strong. It's Aries. It's, I say this a lot, but with Aries energy and its power, it's not senseless at the expense of other people, which Aries sometimes can be. It can be they're just very impulsive and don't think about the emotional effects of other people around them. But that's not what I'm saying here. This is being crossed by the Emperor, which is saying that, you have the power here to create your new beginning. And there is the support there. And it is all about tapping into that divine feminine energy, that Queen of Wands energy. But the thing is, what Aries will do is it won't second guess its decisions. It will know from its truth is immediate. When it's really tapped in, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go and do that. And it's never at the expense of anybody else, but it never second guesses itself, and it's very powerful. So the Queen of Wands energy, if we look at her energy, so she's very, very powerful, of course, because she's a queen, but she's freedom loving. She's active, she's lively, she's creatively gifted. She can run a business, of course, warm-natured and a practical organiser, a lover of nature. So that's the card that's coming out. That's the energy to embody moving forward in your new beginning, and that is going to attract in the generosity and the support. Again, this card has come out so much. I think a lot of people are going to be receiving that have gone through a massive financial hit, or they've been really struggling. They're going to unearth, or they're going to find resources and support from places they didn't know existed. But again, this is in believing that there is this spiritual safety net, that if we follow what we know is right, Spirit will guide us. And I think this is a big fork that everybody is experiencing now with the pandemic. It's forced people into situations they never thought that they had. It's also bringing up a lot of the selfishness in people as well, and it's not nice to see, and we need to see it. But again, it's about, well, what are we going to realign ourselves with? Are we going to, and this is Spirit was showing me as well this week, to work with the violet flame, to burn away. And it's almost like, forgive them for they do not know what they do. It's this base chakra wounding. And a lot of people don't even know about energy. They don't even understand what they're consciously doing. They're in absolute survival mode. And the crazy thing is, there's a lot of these people don't need these resources. They're actually in a very comfortable position. That's what makes it even more difficult, because the angelic energy and people here that are on the earth that really want to help, and they're very conscious and they're woken up, some of them are needing this at the moment. And this is where and I know it's bandied about a lot, but we need to come together. But it's not coming together in the way that the governments and the establishments are trying to control us to do. It's actually being a kind person, a human being. It's about being a thoughtful, loving, generous person, even to a stranger. And I know that's hard to do in the world that we live in, but these situations are calling, what path are we going to take? But there's also a rest and recuperation message here for a lot of people that really align with that angelic energy, that are very gentle in nature and spirit, to retreat back from this as well, because it's like spirit don't want people to get swallowed up. They don't want us to be in denial, but they also want us to take care of ourselves. We have to take care of our house, our body, our mind, our spirit, our soul, our heart first. And we're best placed to not get pulled into these fear energies and not be reaction to it, and to be able to navigate the world in this place. And I think this is what the family and tribe card is about as well, is that we sometimes need to retreat into the troubles of life with people that understand us, because they get it, they just get it, and they don't need us to explain ourselves. And I think more and more and more of us are recognising in our life who these people are, and that we need to be surrounded by it so that we can navigate and go out there in the world. Because we can't hide away. We've got a life to live, guys. We can't put it on hold. We don't need to put it on hold. We do not need to put it on hold. And I think, if anything, these messages for this, on the 2nd of October 2021, have been really reminding us of that. So I'm going to send you all my love. To those of you that chose fish, thank you for the messages from Spirit as well. And I will see you soon. Take really good care of yourselves. Check in on yourself and your loved ones and your family and your tribe. And, let's be there for each other. All right, all my love. Take good care, guys. Bye.